You want to warm up. Kind of like the same talk we had for power before warm up. What's the reason you think people should warm up before starting, let's say, warm muscles? Okay.
Get the blood flowing.
Get the blood flowing, yeah, exactly. Prime the central nervous system. Maybe get joints looser a little bit because they've been sitting. Especially nowadays, I would say warm up is probably more needed if somebody sits at a desk all day, especially. If somebody has more of a laborer's job, they're probably looser. But if somebody sits at a desk all day, they might need it more. So one of the big things we believe warm up is to wake up your central nervous system. It's consisted of your brain and spinal cord, controls motor functions. Usually what we see is going from inactivity to intense activity increases the odds that you overload the motherboard, essentially the central nervous system, right? By warming up, you're letting the computer kind of like start up a little bit slower. Gives your brain and spinal cord the opportunity to build connections with your nerves, organs, and muscles. Very important to move well and to feel great. A lot of times it's just mentally too, right? Mentally just easing into it. Some people are not used to lifting heavy right away off of nothing. So definitely getting them used to it. Some people require more warm up than others. That's another one we see. It also depends if you slept that night or not. You might ease into the warm up more. And yeah, I mean, you can tailor the warm up a lot better. If you see somebody moving quickly or they already warmed up at home, a lot of people warm up at home. There's no reason to do every set and every rep of the warm up. You might just want to have them gone through it faster so you can get more done during the workout, right? Another one that we talked about, you primes your muscles. So what does that actually mean? It means that your muscles are fairly cool at rest, so warming them up gets them hotter. As you warm up, your body gradually starts sending blood to your muscles and increases the temperature. Increased blood flow also provides your muscles with plenty of oxygen, nutrients, and enzymes. So it's almost like you're flushing out the system at the same time, right? That's the idea of sweat. Sweat is toxins leaving your body. So you want to make sure you sweat a couple times a week for sure. And then there was a study that was done back in 2010. Athletes used up to 8.5% more muscle fibers in their quads after low to moderate intense activity for warm-ups compared to muscle fiber recruitment before warm-up. Right, so that's 8.5% is a big difference. Just cutting 100 or 90 pounds, it makes a big difference. So it also prevents injury. Given the warm-up wakes up the central nervous system and routes blood flow to the muscle, it makes sense that skipping then would increase the risk of injury. Another study in 2012 that was a randomized controlled trial found that well-planned warm-ups can help reduce the risk of knee injuries. So make sure you warm up. So another one, the key words for a well-planned good warm-up is most importantly specific to what you're going to do that day. We kind of tend to do functional training, so we do a little bit of everything. So in a warm-up, we usually involve a little bit of everything too, right? Just make sure that it gets moving. What do you guys think about dynamic or static? Any thoughts on that? A lot of people say it's better to dynamic stretch before, it's better to statically stretch after. Any thoughts on that?
Good. And aren't there like studies that are newer that are like, because they used to say, oh, do static after. Now they're
exactly.
Like, actually, you don't really.
Exactly. So what we're starting to find out is kind of like, honestly, do whatever feels better for you. If somebody feels better statically warming up, there's nothing wrong with that. There's been studies that say statically warm up doesn't prime as much if you're going to move something fast. So that's a different story. But if you're just generally moving, nothing explosive, nothing really heavy, for the most part, anything works, right? That's the idea. There's nothing super right, there's nothing super wrong, but we want to make sure people are slowly loosening up to it, right? So from previous experience with clients, movement of any joint, if it's not torn or badly injured, usually gets better with some light movement. This is another reason to warm up. Like for example, if you have tight ankles, I would almost try to make sure that part of your warm up is always loosening up your ankles. Maybe like a rack squat. That's as easy as doing 2 or 3 rack squats, staying at the bottom, loosening up your ankles. That's just an easy ankle warm up, right? So just take the person into account as you're doing it. And then what we have on warm ups is we try to combine like flexibility and mobility. We're gonna go into that later. It's 2 different things. But we try to make that kind of like together whenever we're warming up. You guys know we did PVC warm-ups. We did dynamic warm-ups. We do mobility warm-ups, static stretches sometimes, soft tissue mobilization. Sometimes we use, I don't know if you guys went over the lacrosse ball at all. Probably not. Yeah, sometimes we'll just take that out. We use the foam roller or the lacrosse ball for somebody that's feeling really crappy, and that usually loosens them up a lot. That's great for joints like the chest, We sometimes will do, if somebody has tight knees, we'll do kind of like flossing where we have them lay down, put the lacrosse ball around their knee tendon and just have them crank back and forth. And that just loosens it up like the ankle would too. It loosens up that joint to be able to tense better at the extreme end. And then we also believe something called the joint by joint approach. So every joint is either stable or it's either mobile. And it tends to be every other joint, right? So we have this chart over here that you guys can come look at if you want. So if we start at the ankles are supposed to be mobile, right? If the ankles are mobile, that means the knees have to be stable. They're not really have to be mobile. If the knees were mobile, it would be a problem there. They're not supposed to be mobile, right? They're a hinge joint. They're only supposed to go one way, technically. That means that the hip joint is going to be mobile. It moves a lot of places. That means that the lumbar spine has to be stable. It can't really rotate that much. It has to be pretty stable. The thoracic spine is supposed to be mobile then, right? So if you keep going up joint by joint, you're going to find the shoulders are mobile, the elbows are going to be stable because it's also a hinge joint, but then the wrists are mobile again. And you have your cervical spine, which is also mobile. So around this area, everything should be mobile, but everything after that, every other thing is stable, right? So this is definitely something we think, and you're going to see that going up and down the chain, if your knee's tight, we usually look at the ankle or the hip. It could be coming from that. It doesn't have to be just coming from the knee, right? So it's something to look at because something that is supposed to be stable and is hurting, it might be coming from not a lack of mobility here or a lack of mobility here. Like if you told me your knees were hurting, I could probably guess it's from your ankles.
Yeah, for me, my knees hurt a lot because of my hips.
Oh, your hips. Okay, yeah, exactly. So it's definitely coming from your hips, right? Yeah, exactly. So it could be just not mobile enough. So we would probably mobilize his hips more and see if that takes away from knee pain, right? So it's definitely something just to keep in mind. I'll send you guys this picture so you can have it. And as we go through it, if you start coming up with problems, start looking up and down the chain. Hey, my elbow hurts. Okay, have you had shoulder problems before? Maybe it's coming down now. Or have you had a lot of wrist pain before? Maybe it's coming up now, right? So we usually take that into account. Okay, so now what I'm gonna have you do is, I'm gonna have you coach me, basically, you're gonna coach each other, but I'm gonna have Kyria coach me through the number 1 all the way across. And then I'm gonna have Brett coach me number 2 all the way across. That's what we'll do, okay? So let's do that. And you only have to do a couple of reps. Have you talk to him about what he's gonna do, have him perform it right away, and then we'll move on to the next one. Like he was gonna do a normal warm-up, and the same thing. You're gonna treat it like the second one is a full warm-up for her, and you're gonna treat it like that's her warm-up, okay? So you're gonna run through all of like 6 or 8 of those, okay? Back to back. So what we'll need for you, we won't need any equipment. You're just gonna go that, and then for you, Brett, we'll only need a mini band, yeah. So I'll have you, Kyria, go ahead and demonstrate, and then perform it for Brett, or have Brett perform it for you. I'm just gonna be watching on the side. Of course, if you have questions, you're more than welcome to stop and readjust and ask me.
All right, Brett, so I'm going to have you stand against the wall, okay? And what I want you to do, you can stick out a little bit just so your back is against the wall. You're going to grab that knee, pull it to your chest if you can, or just bring it up as high as you can. So you grab that knee, pull it to your chest. We're just loosening the hips. The knees out in the air.
Go ahead, Brett.
Against that wall, I'm going to give you some.
You're gonna perform it now. Yeah, so she's gonna go through the whole thing first. So what kind of questions could you be asking, Kyria?
Are you having any pain anywhere? No?
Perfect.
All right. You feel stable? You feel like you're good?
And then where do you want him to feel that? In his butt?
Yeah.
What about his hips? I don't know. Let's ask him.
I mean, you're lifting.
Exactly. So maybe just by asking where do you feel that, you can find out where you feel it, number 1. And number 2, if you feel it, if he doesn't feel it in his butt, but you feel it in your butt, it's okay if you feel it in different places. It just might be he's really tight in his hips, right? Where do you feel it?
A little bit in my hips.
In your hips, in the front? Okay. So you feel it in your butt, right, when you do that? Different parts, right? It's gonna happen all the time, and it's okay if he feels it that way. That's just an area that he needs to stretch out. That's it, right? So when we do this, keep asking those questions. You might not have to coach a lot, but you could ask other things, right? Yeah, go ahead. Gonna get nice and loosened up today.
Yeah, I'm here for it. A whole day flying tomorrow, so it's good.
Oh, that's true. Good point, good point.
All right. Brad, have you heel up to your butt and then bring it back down. I guess it would be easier to alternate it.
Perfect. You can, yeah, absolutely. Whatever way you want. You can also just do that. You can just have them do 5 on one side, then switch directions, 5 on the other side. It just depends on how you want to coach it. There's a lot of freedom there, right? Once you start performing it, you start seeing there might be an easier way to do it. And that's okay for that client, right? So you just got to do it to know how it feels. Yeah. Go ahead, Brett.
And then try to focus on keeping that knee down while you're doing it.
Nice. That low ankle. Nice.
That's nice. This one might do it too.
Excellent.
How does that feel?
Feels great.
Any pain anywhere?
Ah,
Where are you feeling it?
my quads, good stretch.
Nice. All right. So one thing on this one that's easy to do. Let's say somebody, what part of your quad do you feel it? Point at it. Okay, perfect. So if you look at his body line, this is just a little bit biomechanics. Go ahead and keep your knee there, and I want you to push your hips forward a little bit more. So that should be up here now.
Yep.
So let's say you want him to stretch his hip flexors. You try to guide him through what that's going to feel like. Hey, I want you to stand up nice and tall, and I want you to now, instead of just, some people are just like this. So like a lot of older people especially, can only get their ankle here, so they're not really flexing their hip forward. So if I ask them to stretch their hip forward, oh my God, that's such a different movement. Yeah, you're going to feel a lot different place, right? Yeah, it should feel great, but it's just a little bit different area.
Yeah.
So you can target whatever area you want depending on what you're seeing face to face. The more vertical you are, the more you're going to feel that hip flexor compared to that quad. Nice. All right, that's great. Let's go with the ankle knee pull.
All right, so you're going to go back against the wall. What you're going to do is you're going to grab that ankle. Okay, I want you to focus. You can have a slight bend in the knee if you want to. You're going to focus on pulling that toe up, pushing that knee down. That's just going to work on opening up those hips and stretching. All right? Yep. Grab one leg. Push that knee down. Pull that toe up. Feeling stretch?
Where do you feel the stretch? Okay. Perfect. So there's technically 2 variations to this. Sometimes we pull and push. Sometimes we pull and pull. Right? So if you want to create like a baby, go ahead and try to pull and pull. And tell me if you feel a different spot. More, yeah, more glute. And before it was what? More what?
Kind of more of the hip.
More in the hip? Okay, so it just depends on what you're trying to get, right? And what you're trying to do, or even what they can do. They might not be able to pull up, but they might be able to push down, right? So this is a lot easier to do than this would be, right? So that's another thing you might want to be able to do. Hey, that glutes are really, really tight. I'm trying to loosen them up. I want to pull both sides. If they want to open up their hip a little bit, I want to push, right? So it just depends. Yeah, perfect. Nice. All right, let's go leg swings. Leg swings.
Okay. I'm having you do some leg swings, so you're going to hold on to the rack. Whatever your inside leg is, whatever you're holding on to, that's the one you're going to swing forward and backwards. Hand on that hip. All right, you're going to swing your leg forward and backwards. Not overextending that back. Just trying to work that range of motion. Now, if you have issues bringing that toe up, I just focus on bringing that knee up.
Good.
And then once you're done doing 5 on this leg, you're going to switch. Again, that side leg is going to be moving. Forward, backwards. Forward, and then backwards.
There you go.
Not overextending, hand on that hip to try to.
Where do I want to try to feel that, Kyria?
Where do you want to feel it?
Where do you want him to feel it? Hamstring?
Hamstrings, yeah.
Is there any other part, or that's it? Just the ham?
I mean, as you go get back, you'll feel it.
Your hip. Yeah, exactly. So then you can describe that too. I want to see if you can feel it in your hip flex, right here and right here. If you don't want to say the names, depending how knowledgeable they are, or your hip flexor and your hamstring, right? That way they know what they're feeling. If they're feeling the lower back, that could be part of the stretch you're designing, but they don't know what they're going to feel, right? So maybe just say, what I want you to try to feel is be this, right? Go ahead, Brett. What are the positives he's doing? Coach me through some positives.
Positives, you're doing really good at pointing that toe up, getting that hip up high. How does it feel?
Feels great.
Good. Where are you feeling it?
My hamstring and my hips.
Perfect. Good questions, right? There's always something to say, right? You don't have to stay quiet. You can always say the positive going on. Like, encourage him that he's doing it right. If it's a new client, he's not going to know they're doing it right until you say something, right? I like the way you said, don't hyperextend your back. What's another way you can get that done?
To not overextending the back.
Yeah. Or what are you trying to get by not overextending the back? You're trying not to get this, right? Most likely. But the opposite of that would be this, right? Exactly. So what we don't want to do, number one is, chest forward, but I don't want to see this chest swinging back and forth. So I try to, as another cue I could use, apart from don't overextend your back, would be, hey, I want you to keep your chest nice and upright. The only thing that's going to move is your leg. The only thing that's going to move is your leg, right? So that way, the only thing, otherwise most people go, right? They move along with their leg, right? So I want you to stay nice and upright, right? The only thing I'm going to have you move is the leg, right? Go to lateral, lateral.
Lateral, same thing. You're going to hold on. You're going to face the rack. Okay. You're going to lift your leg up and bring it across.
There you go.
And you want to make sure that ankle is tight.
What do you want your toe to go? That's the one way of doing it. The other way is point your toe wherever your leg's swinging. That's the way I say it. So if you're swinging this direction, you're pointing your toe that way. You swing that direction, that way, right? So I'm pointing my toe where I want my leg to go, right? Yeah, for sure. So just remember that as you're coaching through it. Go ahead, Brett. Yeah. So he's pretty, he feels good doing it. He must have done this before, right? For sure. Most people won't go this high.
Yeah.
So you have to overcoach. Hey, I want you, and what I might do is, hey, Brett, I want you to go ahead and try to touch my leg. Obviously, for somebody else, it might be right here, right? So I can feel like their hips. And some people might do it very robotically. So it might look like this. They're not used to loosening up. Hey, I want you to still guide your toe, and it might just take some time to let them relax that hip, so they can feel it more in the hip. But the first day is going to look really tight. Don't overcoach it. It's going to take a little bit of time on doing that, right? Yeah, nice job. All right. What is it?
That's my go-to.
Oh, me too. I love leg swings, for sure. For sure. Actually, that's a good question. On the leg swings forward and back, if they don't have a straight, let's say I don't coach a straight leg, right? Let's say I just coach, I want you to swing your leg back and forth, right? But the leg is bent. What does that most likely mean? Huh? It could be knee pain. For me, logically, if I think biomechanically, it just means they probably have a really tight hamstring. They keep it tight hamstring. Tight hamstring, because most likely they're not going to extend their leg, because that's as far as their leg's going to go, right? I'm going to feel a lot more in my hamstring if I keep my leg locked out, right? So if you're starting to get somebody a couple more times rather than the beginning, I would start coach. If they can keep their chest upright, if they can keep themselves balanced, I would start coaching straight-legged as like a progression. Hey, let's try to straight lock out your leg as you're going forward, right? Because they're going to start feeling shooting back down a lot more, right? Yeah, so something to look forward into. Walking arm circles.
Walk forward, and you can really get here.
Perfect.
And then you can either go backwards, make your arms go backwards,
Or
you can turn around.
and you're perfect. Yeah, exactly. Just depends on the balance at that point, for sure. All right, try it out.
Really focus on getting a full range of motion in your arms. Good. How does that feel? Pain anywhere?
Oh, some good shoulder popping.
So same thing as this is the legs, right? Once they start getting better and better at this, I want to start locking them arms a little bit more. Because locking the arms a little bit more, you're going to feel a lot more in the shoulders. Right? Yeah, for sure. Right? Same idea. So this could be easy, and my next level could be this. Right? Because I'm going to start feeling a lot more in my shoulder than my elbows when I start locking on my elbow. Right? Nice, nice. All right, and then lateral body weight walks. This is definitely like a beginning client. Like they can't do much.
Body weight walk?
Mm-hmm.
They're not holding on or anything?
They're gonna, yeah, that's hope. Yeah, I mean, if okay, let's say if you wanted to do it holding on, well, how would you do it?
Just have them
Facing the wall, right?
facing the wall, or they can have their hands on the wall for And just step one side.
Yep, exactly. You can do that. You can also ride along the wall, using the wall as assistance, right? Yep, a little wall slide as you're going back and forth. But show me going across the floor now.
All right. So you're gonna walk across the floor, but this time you're gonna be sitting this way. Okay. I want you to focus on the leg that's leading. Okay. So this leg is gonna be leading out. You want to think about a straight. So your hips, knees, and ankles all together. I don't want to see your toe pointing out this way. In, everything is straight. Good, big guy this way.
What are you looking for them to do? One thing we're looking for is balance, right? For them to be able to balance on their own. For you to be able to gain better balance, what would you want somebody to be? Straight-legged or bent-legged? Bent leg, right? Perfect. So make sure you, if you're talking about it, make sure you say that to them. Hey, I want your knees and hips to be bent as you're going across the floor, right? Because this is easier, but harder to balance than this would be. And as they're going through the banded walk, you want to make sure the knees are bent, not straight, most of the time, right? Yeah, so that's something you want to make sure you coach them on, right? Go ahead and perform it. I want you to coach them through it.
Right. Yep. Shoulder width apart. All right. Step forward. You can bend your knees. Come.
Yeah, perfect.
All right. Make sure that everything is in line. That looks good. Good job of keeping that leg straight.
What's the way to make it harder?
Harder.
Yeah.
Putting a band or making
Absolutely.
a squat lower.
Yes, either one, right? Either one, adding the load or getting lower to the ground. Getting the legs working more, right? Nice job, good job. All right, so let's go, Brett. You're now gonna basically coach her through everything but unassisted. So let's start with that walking high knee pull. Let me just grab my water real quick.
Just picture.
All right. All right, bud, let's do it. Kiri, ready to get coached?
Am I coaching?
You're getting coached.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ready?
Yes.
All right, dude. So now we're gonna do our walking high knee pull. So we're gonna start here. We're gonna be walking forward. We're gonna have some soft knees while we walk. We're just going to be pulling that knee up to our chest. Again, soft knee so we can have some balance, keeping our weight on that tripod of the foot. Core nice and tight, good little stretch. We're going to walk forward, lift that knee up, toe or ankle flex, pull that knee up as high as we can to our chest. Nice and controlled though, we're not trying to jerk it around. Nice and easy, walking forward, keeping that core tight. Okay.
Perfect. One thing we don't have a lot of space, so I just walk every step. I just pull. Instead of walking 3 steps, walking. That's normally what I do in a field, but if I don't have a field, you can just go 1, 2, 3. Other than that, it's perfect. Go ahead and coach her.
All right, so feet shoulder width apart. Good, go ahead and take a step forward. We got soft knees. All right, we're going to pull that other knee up. We want to flex that ankle, good. Knee up, flex ankle, good. Now weight on the tripod of the foot, very nice. Core's nice and tight, got good balance. How's that feel? Good.
Nice.
Where do you feel that?
That's excellent. Nice job. You asked everything you asked. There's only a few things you can remind people of, right? On this one, it's pretty easy to coach. On general, hey, are you feeling your hips? Yeah, great. Hey, is there any pain anywhere? No. Nice. Keep pulling your knee nice and high. That's it, really, I can say. One thing to make this one harder, if you really wanted to, start making it more balanced-like, right? So one of the things that we do is we go up on your toe, on the bottom, up on your toe on the bottom, right? So it just makes it a lot harder to stay upright and it makes your lower calf work a lot more when it's single-legged, right? So it's just a different way of making it a little bit harder. All right, let's go walking butt kick or ankle pull.
Alright, walking butt kick. So again, we're going to be here, shoulder width apart, knees nice and soft. What we're going to do, we're going to step forward. And we are going to pull that back leg up. We want that knee pointing forward. We're going to balance on that tripod of our foot, core nice and tight. Put the foot down nice and easy, and then just switch to the other one. Knees down, core's nice and tight, breathing nice and easy. We're not jerking that leg all the way up like that. Just nice and easy movement right here. The core tight, nice balance.
Perfect.
All right, feet shoulder width apart, good. We'll step forward, good. Go ahead and pull up, nice. Point that knee down, looks good. Good balance. Nice, nice and easy. How's that feel? Good. You feel like your quads? Where do you feel that?
Nice. Yeah, beautiful. On the same thing on this one, as I told her, like if you wanted to get more in the hip, hey, I want you to pull your hip forward as you're going back. So you might have to overextend your back a tiny, tiny bit to be able to get that hip flexor, number one. If you want to work on the balance, make it a little bit harder, two things you can do, right? You can go reach, right? Reach on the toe, and you opposite hand reach. Just makes it a little bit harder. Yep, it's just more balance, right? Or you could do a RDL at that point, right? So here, reach down, here, reach down. So you're just adding a little bit more difficulty by adding more balance into it, making the movement more difficult. So it's just, this is something that you can decide to do depending on who the person is. You can add it or keep it the same, whatever you want to do. Nice. All right, we got walking ankle and knee pull.
So feet are shoulder width apart. We're gonna do that walking knee and ankle pull. We're gonna lift that leg up. We're gonna find our balance on our tripod of our foot. We're gonna pull that ankle up and we're gonna push that knee down. Good, nice stretch right there on our knee. Okay? Core nice and tight. We're not leaning all over the place. Nice and easy. Take a little step forward as we're walking. Opposite leg. We're gonna pull that ankle up, push that knee down. Chest nice and upright. Core nice and tight. Good balance. We're gonna keep going up all the way down.
So you know he has tight hips because when he does it, he's leaning a little bit forward. He can't straighten out. That's how I know he has tight hips. For sure. Go ahead, Kira.
I was trying to hide it.
Yeah, no, I saw that. Don't worry.
Good, good, good. Nice soft knee on the tripod. Good. Core's nice and tight. Pulling the ankle up, pushing the knee down. Looks great. Go ahead with the next step. Good. Push the knee down, pull the ankle up, upright. Good, good balance.
You're too used to the pulling, Carioca.
What?
You're too used to the pulling. That's good. That's good.
Looks good. All right. Any pain with that?
Okay, so based on the previous two, what's another way to make this one harder?
Toe again.
Toe again. Right, toe again. So you pull up on your toe. Yeah, exactly. It's just balance, right? It's just balance. Exactly. Good. No, good. Walking arm circles.
Isn't that what she did earlier?
Yes, you did that, I guess. Let's go walking toy soldiers then.
All right, walking toy soldiers. So we're gonna have our legs nice and straight here, feet shoulder width apart. What we're looking here is for opposite foot, opposite hand. We want to keep that leg extended straight and stiff while we do that. Chest nice and upright, so it's gonna look a little bit like this. Okay. And the point of this is we're really trying to loosen up those hamstrings. Nice and controlled though. We're not jerking it all over the place like that. Okay. So feet shoulder width apart, opposite hand, opposite foot. Just like that.
Perfect. Go ahead, Kira.
Where are you feeling that at?
Quad?
Slow
Really?
down a little bit.
You feeling your quad a lot?
Yeah.
Wow. How?
I don't know.
All right, so okay, so I want you to try to fix this. Get her to feel her hamstrings. I don't want to fix it.
One, let's slow down a little bit. That way I can kind of get a better feel for it. So opposite hand, opposite foot, nice balance. Good.
Now I feel.
Now you're feeling hamstring. Okay,
I think
good.
you might have just making sure it's going too fast.
So I mean, that's a good point. That's why. But this is why you always ask people where they feel it, right? Because you don't know otherwise. You assume it looks good. To me, it looked good. I can't believe she felt it in the quad, right? So yes, you can slow it down. Normally, it's the opposite. If you want to make it a little bit harder, you start picking it up and start going a little bit faster, right? Another thing that you could have done is, hey, let's take it to the wall. Let's get this guy and see where you feel it. And then that way I can stabilize you and see if you're feeling it and still in your quads. What is it about that you're feeling in your quad, not your hamstring? That's very awkward. You really felt that in your quad?
I did. It was my quads
Holy
like touching
crap.
up.
Oh, so you're using your quad to pull your leg up. You're not letting it swing from your hip flexor probably. That's okay. Okay. That's fair. That's interesting. That's a new one. Go ahead and mini band walks, lateral. At the knees, at the knees.
Knees, like here, lateral mini band walks. Band is going to be at our knees, right above our knees. Have a nice athletic stance, feet shoulder width apart, and we're going to have our ankle, our knee, and our hip moving at the same time as we walk forward. So it should look just a little bit like that. And that back leg is just traveling with us. So that's all moving together, really pushing with that hip forward, and keeping that nice soft knee. Okay? All that's nice and easy.
Good. On this one, I would go as far to maybe coach to stay maybe a little bow-legged maybe just a little bit, just so you can keep the tension between the band. And also, don't let them get their knees together, just to keep tension in between the band, right? Because the whole goal is to feel that constant tension the whole time. So maybe wider steps and wider finishes, right? Yeah, for sure. All right, Kira, let's try that.
Do you have a lot of clients that you have to help with that on?
Oh yeah, I basically do it for everybody, 100%. Yeah, especially if I have the time. If it's a one-on-one, there's for sure. Yeah.
Bend on the knees, feet shoulder width apart, nice soft knees, very good. Maybe a little bow-legged, we want to keep that tension on the band. Good, we're just going to pull forward, pull on the hip, knee, and ankle all in one line. Very nice, keeping tension the whole time. That's good, where are you feeling that? Hip, yeah, good. That's right, that's good. That's good.
Perfect. All right, go ahead and keep going a couple more times over there. Go ahead and come over here. So one thing that she has a tendency, yep, number one, yeah, but look at her back. It's really arched. Try to pull your belly button in. Not like overextend. Yeah, just pull it in a little bit, and then use your hands. Put your hands on your side. That way I can make sure you eat in your belly button. So that looks a lot less arched to me. Go ahead and keep walking.
Was she walking at an angle?
She was just walking like this, like with her back really extended. Does that feel any different or not really? It shouldn't probably feel a difference. I'm just trying to make you...
Feel the difference?
Yeah.
I mean, I know what I'm doing with my back.
Gotcha. So I'm just trying to make her conscious of that what she's doing. So if I make you more and more conscious of it, you're probably, when we get to a squat pattern or something like that, you're going to be conscious of that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I'm just foretelling what's going to happen. That's probably what's going to happen when she squats. Right? Yeah. Go ahead and take that off. Okay. So toe walking, heel walking, not really anything crazy. You're going to stay on your toes. If you need to use the wall, use the wall. You're going to go by the wall. If not, you're going to stay off the wall and try to walk on your toes and heels. We can do a forward, backwards, lateral. There's not really anything there you have to coach on. Just be there for balance if you need them to, right? So nice job on that. All right, so we just did traveling toy soldiers. We did walking knee pulls, walking butt kicks, walking ankle pulls. Okay, mini band. So the only thing that changes in the mini band is goes from knees to ankles. When it goes from the knees to the ankles, it's going to be a massive difference on the hips, right? So same thing on the ankles. I even keep it, like I talked about, keep it wider instead of letting them come all the way in. Hey, come only halfway in, right? Toes stay pointing forward. Doesn't have to be precise. It can stay to the side, but it's just a lot harder when you're pointing forward. And mini band, dirty diaper walks. You want to go over that, Kira?
You want me to do it?
Go ahead, demonstrate. Or yeah, coach me through it. Coach straight through it. There you go. We'll do it on the ankles. Do it on the ankles. Sorry, I should have said that. Make it a little bit harder on you.
Okay. All right. So you're gonna do a diaper walk. We call it diaper walk because pretty much you don't want your legs to be touching. All right. So this time, what you're gonna do is you're gonna keep those legs tight. All right. You're not, you don't have soft knees or anything like that. You're just kind of walking. You're trying not to touch that poop in your diaper.
Good. Okay. So then this is straight-legged. The next progression will be bent leg.
Bent-legged.
Yeah. Go ahead and do the same. Now, coach. Go ahead and back up and coach me through the same thing, bent-legged.
Okay. All right. So this we're gonna make it a little harder. Don't touch that poop in the back. You're gonna bend your legs a little bit, so you have to control it more as you're stepping, making sure you're not touching that poop in the back.
Good. Am I coming in and out, or am I staying wide the whole time?
I don't know.
Good question. So you can coach it both ways. In and out would be easier than staying wide, right? So I like to coach it wide from the beginning. I only regress if I have to. So like I don't even coach it straight-legged unless you can't really do like bent-legged, right? So I coach that right away. I'll keep this one like in case they can do that one. I start with a yellow band usually. The yellow band is a lot easier than that, so that should be doable. And yeah, this would be a little bit, tiny bit easier than this, staying wide the whole time. And try just staying wide. So you see how you go less forward like that? Smaller steps. It's just a difference. There is a difference that they ask you. You can have them do whichever one you feel more comfortable for now, especially the first time doing it. There's no right or wrong there. It's just gonna feel in different spots, right? For sure. Questions on that? Let's try it out. Let's coach him through it.
Your ankles. slight bend in your knee. Okay, you're gonna take little steps. So you're gonna act like you're wearing a diaper and there's a in it. And you don't want to tuck that poop to your butt.
Love that.
Alright, so then you're just gonna take little steps controlling the diaper in the back. Take the chest back, your knees a little bit. How does that feel? Good.
Now have him go wider.
Okay, now go a little wider. I think that poop's touching your butt.
So the way I think about it is, if I'm looking at his hips and his hips are here, I want his feet to be a little bit wider than his hips. That's the way I want to think about it. That's gonna make it pretty hard. Just so you know, it's gonna make it pretty hard. But that's what I'm looking at if I'm looking as a coach. It's a big difference. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's constant tension the whole time. Yeah, good. Good. Do you guys go over the lateral shuffle and skipping and power with Heather?
Lateral shuffle.
The next round.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, this one.
Did you go over that one yesterday?
We did.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna skip all those. We're just gonna do. I want you to walk me through hammy sweeps. Remember hammy sweeps or no? Yeah. We didn't go over it?
We did. We went over the whole page.
Yeah.
Oh no. Meaning sorry. Because this is also part of power. So I went over this with you guys. What I'm saying is, you haven't presented hammy sweeps, right?
No, we haven't presented. We've just gone over it.
Yeah, okay, but you haven't, did you present it to Heather, the laterals? Oh, you didn't do this on power?
Nope.
You didn't do that on power? Okay, so let's do it today. Let's do it today.
I don't remember.
You remember? Okay, that's fine. So, Kyria, go ahead and take me through lateral shuffles.
All right.
High.
High.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm gonna have you do. We're gonna shuffle across. Okay. You're gonna push one foot, and the other back leg is gonna follow. Okay. So this leg goes out, the back leg follows. So, but this time I want to have you add arms to it. Okay. So we're gonna go high. So it's gonna be a high up here. So you're gonna go opposite. So you're gonna switch those arms, going back and forth. Right in this area. Try to keep that core tight as you're doing it.
Okay. So I'm just going like that.
Yep, just like that, but then I want you to add some arms into it.
Where am I doing the arms at again?
Overhead.
Here. And then try to think about switching those hands.
Yeah, good. That's good. So in this case, and this is my fault because I didn't differentiate, lateral means mostly like straight. I'm sorry, high means mostly like straight, low means mostly like bent. That's the only different lateral means. But you can do, I did go over this. You can go over this, and you can go over this, right? Just know that this is the hardest variation. For sure. This is going to be the easier variation, and then you have chest, but you won't even concentrate on arms. Yeah, nice job. That's good.
Low, you mean just low?
Getting low on your knees, yeah. And then high would be, right, just staying high with your hips don't get low. Yeah, exactly. Nice job. All right, so you just skipped. Let's go into skipping.
You want me to teach it?
Yeah, let's try it out.
All right, so you're gonna skip. So, skipping, so you're gonna take a step, hop on that same leg, take a step, hop on that same leg. You're gonna bring that other leg up, okay? So you're gonna skip. If you need to slow it down a little bit, just think about taking a step, hop, step, hop, step, hop.
Good. What if we need to take it down further than that? What would you do?
Further then, take it to the wall.
Perfect, yeah, exactly. Just have him slow it down the movement. Good. Go ahead, Brent.
Step, hop,
Take your time. So guide him through it.
step, hop,
There you go.
hop, step, hop, step, hop.
Exactly. Try to go backwards. See if you got it.
Step,
Yeah.
step, hop. Good job.
There you go. Okay. And then you would teach, once he has that, just from the lower body down, how do you coach the arms?
Are you reaching up?
Not both of them.
Hand opposite hand.
Opposite hand, opposite leg, right? So remember running technique, right? Running technique in general is always going to be opposites, right? So the same thing as the hop. All right, I'm sorry, skip. Right, so opposite hand, opposite leg. Just like that, exactly, just like that. Some people, when they're starting out, they might do the same. So it just look weird, and you immediately know, okay, I want you to switch to the other side. Just take a little bit of time for them. Perfect. Hammy sweeps. Remember hammy sweeps? Yeah.
Alright, so you're gonna step forward, you're gonna bend that knee in the back. Good, you're gonna have that forward.
Almost right. That's it. That's it. That's it. You're good. You're good.
You're gonna keep that leg straight in the front. Try to keep that. You're gonna sweep the floor and then get back.
Yep.
And tight. So.
And just switch legs. Yeah, that's good.
All right. So then again, you're gonna switch legs. Leg up, toe up. Get down. Try to sweep that.
You're gonna get down with what?
Get down with your hips.
Your chest.
With your chest.
Your hips stay in place, right? My chest is getting down. The only thing that's moving is my chest, right? Yeah, you're getting down with your chest. And if they can, they can get that leg to come up, the toe to point up. If they can carry it down. But you're gonna feel a lot more with the toe pointing up when you're dorsiflex. You're always gonna feel your hamstring more when you're dorsiflex. Go ahead.
All right. So let's have you have that toe up, slight bend in that knee. Try to keep this leg straight. Come down, sweep down with that chest. Come up, step forward, other leg. Grab. Good. All right. If you want to do.
There you go.
On one side. Do that. Good. Where are you feeling it?
My hamstring.
Good.
Any pain anywhere?
There you go. No? Good. Exactly. Perfect. That's good. That's probably one of the hardest ones to teach people. Is to just start feeling really unstable. Especially some people that are athletic, it's weird for them. I don't know why. So you have to kind of like try to see if you can word it better for them as they're doing it. Right? Hey, because people will start bending their knee, people keep their toe down. They don't know how to lean back, so they lean forward a little bit, keeping their back really far forward. They start falling forward. So yeah, it's just something good to do yourself a lot of, so you make sure that people know what it looks like in your head is right. Let's go. We want to do toe walking, heel walking, walking. Did we go over walking thoracic rotations? Did we do those?
Never really know what's going on. Look at me sometimes like all you want to do is run. Hear me out, hear me out. It's all the things you never show. There are the things I want to know. Secret start
I should have told you sneakily so you can fix it. All right, that's fine, Kyria. All right, Brett, go walking world's greatest.
That's one I know I'm gonna have trouble with.
That's okay, go for it. That's the only reason we're going for it.
Walking world's greatest. Alright, so feet are shoulder width apart. We take a giant step out, right?
Yeah, for sure. 100%. Yeah, go for it.
We'll go down to the knee, right?
Yep.
This hand is out.
Opposite. Yep.
And then we go that way, right?
Yep, but before you do that, what are you gonna do?
So hand down, we're leaning forward.
And,
Stretch into this leg.
yep, and then?
And then we're really gonna open up each other.
Not yet. So you take that big step forward. If my right leg is forward, my left hand is down, so the opposite hand.
Okay.
I'm gonna have enough space for my right elbow to go as slow as I can, stretch my groin out, and then from here, I'm rotating. Yep, get as low as you can so you feel that in your groin, on your right groin.
Okay.
Yep, and then from here, rotate. The same way you're going, yep, but with your whole hand.
So then you go up.
Yes, exactly, that's it. It's the only thing, it's just the reaching down with your elbow. So go ahead and take another step and try it.
Am I coaching this or am I?
You're coaching it. You go, if your finger ready, go for it.
Alright, cool. So feet shoulder width apart. Giant step. Opposite hand is going to be down. Elbow's going to be down here on the inside. We're going to get a good groin stretch. We're just going to reach up overhead and our eyes are going to follow with us. We're not going to try to overextend either though. We're going to go where we feel comfortable with a good range of motion. And then right back down.
So perfect. I will try to emphasize more of the right, whatever elbow to reach down. Hey, I want you to try, for example, if I'm coaching, hey, Kyria, we're going to take a big step forward. We're going to have your left knee down. If I'm going to have my right leg forward, opposite arm down. In this case right here, I'm going to go as low as I can with my right elbow to my ankle if I can. And from here, I'm going to rotate up. Then go ahead and try to stand up, and we're going to do the other side. Okay? So a little bit more on one side and then rotate across, right? Another thing you can do, what can you do to make this exercise a little bit harder? Lift the back knee up. Yep, exactly. All right, Kyria, go ahead and perform it. And I want Brett to coach you through it.
Feet shoulder width apart. Giant step out. Good. Left hand down. Good. Right elbow is going to be down here nice and deep. We're going to get a good stretch against that groin. Good. Then we're going to lift up. Good, eyes follow, good, nice and easy, that's good.
Perfect.
Now we're going to step forward, do the other side. Alright, giant step forward, opposite hand down, good groin stretch, elbow nice and deep, good, down up nice and easy.
Done this before, Kyria? Yeah.
I didn't know what they were called though.
Oh, really? Oh, wow, okay, yeah, that's good, nice job. You feel like you got that difference?
That was very helpful.
Okay, good.
I gotta find where it is on here.
Right, and the number 5, second. Got it?
Oh, I got it.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Okay, so we're gonna finish. We're gonna do these last 4 or 5. We'll stop at ankle hold, and we'll do. I'll start going over core. Okay. So we'll do bear crawl. Go ahead, Brett. Bear crawl and crab walks.
Alright, bear crawl. We're gonna be floors right here. Shoulders are going to be stacked over our elbows and our hands. Hips are going to be right over our knees. We're going to go ahead and elevate. We're going to have our core nice and tight. Shoulders are pushed down and back. And we're just going to take some baby steps here. We're doing opposite toe, opposite hand. So a little bit
Perfect.
like this. And we're really making sure that our hips aren't tilting. They're staying nice and square. Wait, where am I at?
There you go. Exactly. Good. Perfect.
Nice and slow. Alright, so go ahead on all fours. Stack the shoulders, wrists, and hands. Good. Core nice and tight. Shoulders down. Go ahead and elevate off your knees. Good. We're going to bring our knees up forward just a little bit more. Under our
There you
hips.
go.
Good.
Good.
And now we're just going to go baby steps, opposite hand, opposite toe. Good. Little smaller steps. Keeping those hips nice and square. Like you have a glass sitting on your back, you don't want it to spill.
Perfect, man. Yep. That looks good. Nice job coaching that. I really like the way you put her knees up first. Yep, that's really good. How'd that feel? Yeah, feel like good coaching? Yeah. I really like the cue on make sure you keep your hips, like I started doing it. Hey, if I put a glass of water on the top with a spill, so it makes them think, am I flat or not, right? That's like an external cue, but it helps out a lot. Let's go crab walks too. Remember those? Yeah. Nice. So it's forward and backwards bear crawl. There's also forward and backwards crab walks. For some people, it might be a lot harder on the wrist for the crab walks than others. So I always have them try one variation than the other before I call it if it's too hard on the wrist. I don't give up on it yet. I might just have him go. If he's going forward and it feels hard on the wrist, yeah, let's try going backwards and see how it feels before we give up on it, right? Go ahead.
Alright, so we've got our hands back behind us, got our feet nice and in. We're going to elevate our hips here. We really want to make sure we got some good tricep activation here. Hips stay up. How high do you want the hips here?
How high what?
How high are the hips supposed to be?
As high as they can, really. Yeah, they can, for sure. Yeah, exactly. The higher, the harder, right? Exactly.
Hips as high as you can, and what we're doing here again with like the bear crawl is just opposite hand, opposite foot, with baby steps.
Yep.
We want to keep our hips up the whole time, and we don't want them dropping, and I'm doing that totally wrong.
Why? What's up? Why are you doing? What are you doing wrong?
The last two, I was going the same foot with
Oh,
same hand.
okay. It's not. I mean, it's not technically. I mean, some people might get it done, but just don't like. We can get nitty picky about everything, right?
True.
But if they're just the first time they're doing it, I let it slide, man. Just moving them. We're just moving them at that point, let it slide, and later on we can correct it. Yeah, they're just learning the things. So it's already a lot in their head, right? That looked good to me. Go ahead.
All right, go ahead. Good. We're really going to load up those triceps. Hips are going to be up as high as we can comfortably. Very nice. Core nice and tight. And we're just going to go opposite hand, opposite foot with baby steps going forward.
Yep.
That looks much better than mine.
There you go.
Okay, those hips up. Look good.
Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, so the way you want to think about it from the side is I want to draw an M. That's how I know I'm in position, right? So if I'm here, if I think about it, I'm going to lift my hips up, I'm in an M, right? And a capital M. You're right, pushing down your tricep, pushing down your scaps, right? So that's hard to do for most people. Once they understand how to do it, it's a lot easier. And small steps always, right? Small steps always. If somebody feels a lot on the wrist, like I said, try it backwards before you give up on it and see what happens. You might feel less. Some people's hamstrings do cramp up on these. It's because you're pulling on your hamstrings a lot when you're going forward, especially. And people are not used to pulling like that on their hammies. That looks good. That looks good. All right, Kiri, I want you to coach me or us through cherry pickers, lat bends, and ankle hold to single leg RDL. Do you remember those? Yep.
All right, so cherry pickers, similar to skipping, but this time you're gonna go kind of up and reach, kind of like you're playing basketball and you're at the far end of the court, okay? So, yeah, reach.
Perfect. Yep.
All right,
Nice.
now back.
Opposite. There you go.
Opposite hand, try to reach up, bring that knee up as high as you can.
Good. Good. Really good. One more thing before I start, or before you start. One thing that you could do, if somebody has really, really hard time with the opposite thing, have them start with the opposites already lined up, right? Because that way they're going to start, you're already setting them up for success, right? Because they're immediately going to switch their hands as soon as the other leg taps down. All right, go ahead.
All right, so go ahead, start with one knee up, opposite hand. All right, then hop, and then you go forward, hop, and then really try to jump straight up.
There you go. Reach that ceiling. Reach that ceiling.
Back. Good. How does that feel?
It's good.
Good.
Nice. There we go. All right, let's get lat bends. Remember those?
Lap.
The lat bends, the PVC lat bends. Very good.
We didn't do those.
Oh, okay, nice.
Cross it out.
She crossed it out? Okay, then don't worry about it. If you need to know what it looks like, we're gonna be here, and we're gonna try to bend that stick in half. That's all it is, trying to bend that stick in half, okay? It's really a way of activating your glutes, but what we're finding out with this exercise is that a lot of people compensate by using their traps, not their lats. So they shrug, and then they bend the stick. But what I wanna see is not a shrug, is I wanna bend it through the lats, through this motion, right?
I see why she had us cross it out there. It's because we did it at the very bottom.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah, perfect. We can do it later then. Ankle hold to single leg RDL. What does that one sound like to you? Do you remember the ankle hold?
Ankle hold, so you're holding your ankle.
Yep.
Single leg RDL, so you're going back.
Yeah, so there's a progression of the one I said, right?
Squeeze that butt back.
Exactly, exactly. All right, coach him through it.
So, we're gonna do an RDL, but on the one leg, okay? So, we're gonna bring that ankle to your butt, Think about putting your knee down to the ground. You're gonna keep, your knee is gonna be straight with your, it's gonna be in a straight line with your torso. All right? What you're gonna do is you're gonna reach forward, keeping that knee in line with your back, and you squeeze that butt back at the top. And then with your feet, you're doing that tripod with your toes down and your heel down.
You can bend your leg a little bit more if you want. Yeah, because I mean, knowing how his hips look like, it's not gonna look like that. You did it really easy with your knees straight. Most people can't do that. Yeah.
I normally do it with my knees straight.
Yeah, exactly. That's the difference.
All right,
All right,
you
go
can
ahead.
soft knee if you want. You're gonna grab that left ankle into your hands, yep. And make sure you're pushing down. All right. What you're gonna do is lean forward. Try to stay in that straight line. Just go down as far as you're comfortable.
You see that back leg?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you able to bring that leg up a little bit?
You're gonna try to pull your knee back.
Bring your heel to your butt. So you want to do. So what you're doing is this. What I want to see is that knee.
So if you're gonna show him that, that's perfect. I like the way you showed it. Show him at a better angle that he can see. There we go. Exactly.
So you would like this. What I want to see is that knee.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
That's okay. That's okay. But you see what I'm saying about the angle?
Yeah.
Otherwise you're doing the opposite leg that he's not looking at. So that way you can make it easier for him to see what you're trying to explain. Much better. You don't have to go that low if you lose balance. That's it. There you go. There you go.
So as far down as if you start feeling the chest going further, you're not keeping that straight line, you start losing it, that's where I want you to stop and then squeeze that butt up.
That's better. Much better. Where do you feel the difference?
Just feels like a better hamstring stretch.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a little harder to balance.
You don't feel it here as much?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Most likely is your hip flexor is really, really tight. For sure. That's good. You see how we resolve the problem? Just like, good. It just takes time, right? And some people don't understand the cueing. So you might have to even go as far as, hey, let's just grab onto the rack and let's do it so you have something to balance on, right? Instead of reaching down, this would allow him to get to that point a lot easier than it would be trying to reach down or trying to get without stability, right? So yeah, that's another way of thinking about it. I need to get him in contact with something that's stable, in this case, the wall of the rack, so I can teach him this movement or what I'm trying to say. Or if I have him, hey, Brett, come over here. Let's go ahead and get in the rack real quick. I'm gonna have you grab the left side of the rack. Yep, exactly. You're gonna grab your right leg with your right arm, and I'm going to go ahead and lean forward. So for this one's kind of hard because he's facing the rack. Go ahead and face lateral to the rack. There you go. Okay, so if that's the case, I can now fix him here. Go ahead and go down. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to pull that knee back. So I manually can fix him from here too because he's holding on there. I couldn't do that here because he's going to fall over in his butt, right? Yeah, so that's another, yeah. So as soon as I pull back, I know he's going to be feeling it right there.
Yeah.
So I just have to be careful how much force I'm using, but I want to, you felt the difference.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that way I can just get him to a position what he's supposed to look like, right? So he understands what that feels like. And that sometimes takes manually doing it, tactically doing it.